And after last week's incredibly dominating performance from Ethan Lane at Las Vegas, it's going to be time for the drivers of the Integrity Ignite Series to take a trip to Japan as we race at the Okayama International Circuit for the Integrity Phillip 150-kilometer event. Qualifying underway here, and I'm going to be your host from the commentary perspective and on the control of production, David Croix. I hope you enjoy tonight's broadcast as we get things going with 8 minutes left in qualifying before things get on their way, and so far no driver has gotten to their first timed lap. Watching defending winner Ethan Lane, who's won 2 races this season, and he has been on a tear so far. The number 26 machine looking to make it happen at a road course for the first time in this season after victories at Rockingham and Las Vegas last week in 2 different series, back-to-back nights. But now as we turn left and right, it's going to be up to Ethan Lane to continue his domination as we start qualifying for the first time tonight. Matthew Thunder's going to be on the way. Ford Smith going to be right there as well. The number 84 machine, Kyle Cooper, Casey Shue, Gael Brooks going to be there. And the number 71 machine, RL Carriers, carrying the flag for that team. It's going to be the number 71. Don Stevenson looks to be on his way a bit slower, getting his tires a bit warmed up, as Rob Ackley going to be on the way as well, your Daytona winner. Michael Shore going to be on the move. That's going to be Chad Michelson, the number 25, as well. The Lightstuff.gg sponsorship, Alan Dobbs on the 05 machine coming down to the final segment himself. So far, it looks like Gael Brooks going to be the first driver onto his second lap. Looks to be his first time at the moment. Ethan Lane not going to be on to said lap unless it's going to be a bit of a timing and scoring error as the 26 gets back on the move, and this could be his first time around. Warm-up laps are around the 1 minute and 50-second range. Michael Dwell, thank you for stopping by in the chat. We hope you enjoy tonight's production. As you can see, the 26 Toyota Supra makes his way down, and it gets oh so close to that grass. Precision is a must at a track like Okayama. Ethan Lane, a very precise driver. We've seen him put on some great shows so far. Knows how to manage tires, knows how to manage fuel, and knows how to manage his aggression, especially when it comes out of the late stage. He knows when to push and when not to, so Lane might be one of those guys to look out for as Blake Gordon in the striking green, white, and red Jets Pizza number 48 going to take to the top of the board, and a beautiful new paint scheme for the driver that usually represents the Hendrick 48 colors. Nice look, and it's not jet black, but it's going to be a jet so far on the track. Now going to be third on the board with Justin Morton going up into first. Ethan Lane going to be done as well. It appears goes back to pit road, getting a new set of tires on it, while Blake Gordon going to go for 2 consecutive runs. Now that's one of the things about the Integrity Racing League that makes it a bit different from other leagues. These guys get their time limit, and it's not going to be based on laps here at a road course. So Lane, Thunderst, and Morton, your top 3 drivers, have chosen to come in instead of getting a back-to-back lap in, because it's going to help them out in a long run. So it's going to be Joe Dinsmore, the 95 machine, on his way as well. A strong run last week, able to get home with a top 10 finish there. Brandon Bernhardt, number 81 machine, going to be on his second lap, and number 81 going to be Old Smoky Moonshine as we are far from Tennessee. It's Japan for the first time this season, and the Black Rifle sponsorship there as well in a more black paint scheme to reflect it. Alec Daffin having a series of strong runs in back-to-back weeks. Atlanta and Vegas treating him well, and Daffin going to have to put on the heat once again and perhaps get 3 great races in a row as Alan Tard Images comes to the chat. Thank you for stopping by. 5 minutes remaining here in qualifying. Justin Morton bringing to the top of the charts with the Toyota Racing Development number 9. You could see taking an especially slow pace lap here, riding on board. Justin Morton is not in a rush, and this is for good reason. iRacing, with an incredibly realistic tire model, allows for these drivers to build up heat before they go for a run. So right now, it's going to be a slow run through before these guys get on their way, and using our newfound drone technology, courtesy of the in-house development team for cameras that we have alongside TrackCam 22, we have this up-close and personal drone shot, and you can see just using every inch of the track without putting on any power. To the front end, makes the apron there, so it looks like actually a bit of a clip of the grass, and you won't want that on your flying lap. I do believe that Justin Morton will have enough time to get one more flyer in, but if he does not, he's still got a great lap at the top of the board as Matthew Thorner is going to barrel down, this time by Ethan Lane is going to be in a similar spot, just a bit ahead. So Lane right now going to be the first of the top 3 on the board to get their second lap in. It's going to be all or nothing this time by, because it took them about 1 minute 45 in the first lap, and it took them about 3 minutes to get back out again. So this is it. Lane is on a roll right now, and you can see that car is getting a bit sideways, getting a bit slideways even, as it's going to be a very slippery ride from here on out. That number 26 machine knows that he's got something in store. If we look at a further Jones shot here, you can see barreling down to the back straightaway here. Not a lot of pressure. Of course, just making it full send. Chris DeWeese in the chat, thank you for stopping by. Braxton currently going to be sitting in the 6th spot and making a way into the hairpin. It's going to be a bit off camber for these Xfinity machines, but they're able to make it nice and smooth. Just takes a bit of patience. And Ethan Lane gets it all the way down to the edge there on the green set of curb. And still no issue. This is the push lap for the Lane machine. Justin Morton going to be on the way as well. Looks to be up 3/10 up on his average lap, so that could be a bit better than what he saw beforehand. It might be enough to grab the pole if it's only calculating one timed lap. We will see. Still looks like Morton's going to be a bit quicker than Ethan Lane and Matthew Thunorth at the same time. Lane's going to be the first man to clock a lap in this second run, and coming down to the line for Ethan Lane. It's going to be here. It is going to be now. So the number 26 machine has one more thing to prove as it comes out of the stripe this time by. It looks to be a minor improvement. Is it enough to improve anywhere on the board? It looks like that. It is not. Only 1/100th of a second quicker. Matthew Thunorth's going to be second up there. It's going to be the driver of the 8 machine getting a 200-second faster lap. Not going to be enough to get anything going there. So it's going to be up to Justin Morton to extend his gap, as now Ethan Lane and Matthew Thunorth are about 42 thousandths off of each other and the leader. And it's going to be Justin Morton extending his gap. Now gets a 1/10 of a second on his best lap. And it looks like Morton is in a good position to get it in. Morton's going to be top of the board by about 2/10 of a second. Let's take a lap on board. Riding aboard with Justin Morton here, you can see it's all about the patience and the dedication to getting onto that apron. The first apron, rather the first apex here in the longer sweeping turn at Okayama that leads to the back straightaway. You need to take it absolutely perfect. Thank you, Alan. This is a very new thing that we're doing with the camera angles, courtesy. Admittedly, I made it myself, so had to work on that myself, and a bit of a learning curve, but we do hope you enjoy the new close-up angles that we have provided in companion with the TrackCam 22 cameras that we've all grown to love, the greatest cameras on the iRacing platform. Morton right now with a roll bar, you can see, gets down to that apex every single time. He's eating up those red and white curves like it's nothing, almost like Pac-Man with the pellets here, as he's playing a great game of Chop Chop there. Gets down to the apex again on that hairpin, 180-degree turns back-to-back. Terry Hopkins in the chat as well. Thank you for stopping by. Justin Morton going to be on his way again. And this lap actually looks to be only about a 1/10 of a second slower than his average lap. So while tires are wearing, it does not seem to be much a difference just yet. I do believe that now Justin Morton knows he has his pole position in the bag. So we will see as we come out of stripe a total of 28 drivers here to do battle in Okayama, and Justin Morton still getting the man on the top of the board with 40 seconds remaining here in qualifying, and Morton looks to be done and done. Well, the rear end of that number 9 machine said, I love what you do for me, and I'm certain that Justin Morton loves what his car is doing for him. Blake Gordon's still going to be the track right now, top 5 with a brand new paint scheme, and nice look for the green, white, red Chevy Camaro. Honestly, I thought it was the Italian flag the first time I looked at it, but it's going to be pizza. Of course, a very well-known, at one point, only culturally exclusive to Italy dish, but now it's made its worldwide appearance. It's been about a half century, if not more than that, and we've seen pizza in all sorts of ways, with Jets Pizza represented by Blake Gordon tonight. Qualifying is over, and it will be Justin Morton top of the board. Let's get your timing and scoring in for qualifying. Your starting grid will be on your screen in just a moment. It's going to be one pace lap before we get things on our way here in Okayama, and the drivers are gridding in as we speak. Let's get your starting grid up. As you can see, nobody yet on the start-finish line there. It looks to be a shortened pace lap to ensure that drivers will have more time to get themselves racing rather than get themselves pacing. 41 laps, going to add up to about 150 kilometers on the dot there, and it's going to be the driver of the number 9 machine that leads us off here in the starting grid for tonight's event. So without further ado, let's get into it. It's going to be the Integrity Phillip 150 kilometer, and it is indeed time to get the show rolling. Top of the board in qualifying here at Okayama, it's going to be the driver of the number 9 machine in Justin Morton. He's going to score 134.474. Matthew Thunorth there in second with 134.636. Ethan Lane, defending winner in this series and then defending winner in the Integrity Racing League as a whole. 134.679 going to be third on the board, and then Thomas Bressi going to be there in fourth with 134.725. Blake Gordon rounds out the top 5 with a fresh new look. Number 5 on the board. The number 48 is with 134.836. Braxton Lewis going to be 6th on the board with 134.990. Then Don Stevenson going to be right behind him with 135.172. Rob Ackley going to be there with 135.31. Then Chad Michaels, 9th, 135.397. And Nick Terrebrook going to round out that top 10 with a 135.469. From there on out, it's going to be 11th position. Alan Dobbs, 135.691. Michael Stroll, 135.696. Outside of row number 6. Then it's going to be DJ Stagger, 13th spot, 135.915. Alec Daffy going to be 14th. Cody Smith going to be 15th. Kyle Cooper going to be 16th. Gail Brooks 17th. Forrest Smith going to be 18th. Jacob 5 19th. Daniel Foss 20th. Then Brendan Bernhardt 21st. Casey Shukley 2nd. Joe Dinsmore 23rd. Kevin McGarvey 21st. And then Alan Rowell 25th. Boomer Logan Cavalowski and Trevor Trago there as well. The race is going to get underway just a bit early. We did not anticipate this, but here we go. The Integrity Phillip 150-kilometer underway from Okayama. Let's go racing, led by Justin Morton. And a great start there by Matthew Dunner. As you can see, already able to get the lead. Blake Gordon going to be there in second as well. We'll get your ticker back on your screen in just a moment. The 9 machine going to be falling back just a bit. Drivers making very aggressive moves to keep themselves in touching distance of the lead battle. Morton has fallen back into the 5th spot. It's Matthew Thunhorse now the top seat of the board as we get things rolling. The number 8 machine far out in front over Blake Gordon, who's now been able to get himself into the 2nd position. Nice and smooth move for the 8. He's now going to be top of the board going into the first hairpin here in our more precise series of corners. Okayama, it's got its tricks, it's got its twists, and right now it looks like the man who's a master of them all, it's going to be Matthew Thunhorse right now as he sits about a second up on the 2nd place man in Blake Gordon. So nice and steady. It might not be slow and steady, but this is the mentality that wins the race as Thunhorse is able to get a nice and smooth jump on the remainder of the field, and he leads so far lap 1 out of 41 here in Okayama. Now we got through that first lap clean. Does not look like anyone's gone around just yet. Boomer Logan has a bit of damage, but he's still going nice and smooth, only 8 seconds back. So we'll check on him nonetheless because it looks like he might have gotten involved with something, and that he did. Instant replay on the matter for Boomer Logan. And Logan in the number 94 machine looks to be the only driver involved with the wreck just yet. Forrest Smith going to go around as we say that. We'll get a look at him as well. And you can see Boomer's there in the 94, just has a bit of trouble getting up and gets himself not into the wall that time by, but certainly going to be involved in his own issue as Trevor Trago going to be involved as well, and he can get himself back onto the track now behind Boomer Logan and Forrest Smith. So far, a nice, clean start for the good majority of these drivers, and Thunhorse is the man who leads the way as it is, and it looks like since we got through that first lap without a major wreck, we should be able to go green all the way. From the statement that was put out earlier by the administration of the Integrity Racing League, the goal is to go all 41 laps without any yellow, no stopping these guys, and it looks like that will be the case as Thunhorse is able to hold on nice and smooth over Blake Gordon 1 second back. Thomas Bressi so far going to be third on the board, and we're thankful enough to have yet another incredible onboard perspective courtesy of the driver of the number 24 machine. Give us just a second to load it up here and now live on FTN. You're only going to see it here as Thomas Bressi, the man to look at. Here is his VR camera right beside the racing action. You're not going to skip a beat here as you can see Bressi is of course fighting that wheel, and with that VR perspective, this is like he is in the cockpit. This is exactly what he sees inside his headset, and it almost feels like he's inside that number 24 Exalta Chevy Camaro. So it is of course much more intense for a driver like Bressi to hold on to it compared to anyone else. You can see how hard he's fighting the wheel, putting a bit of head angle into it every single time. And right now, Bressi is in third, and now he's going to have a good shot to run up on Blake Gordon, and here he's going to be able to take that run right there. You can see in the VR perspective as well as on the TV. Coming down to the inside line. Nice move for the 24. Now he'll be able to take himself into the 2nd spot. That's Thomas Bressi racing on VR, and it feels exactly like the real thing. iRacing, one of the only places on the world where you can feel what it's like to be in a NASCAR Xfinity Series machine, be it a Chevy, Ford, or a Toyota, and right there, That is an example of the incredible technology provided by iRacing Motorsports Simulations, and that's the host of the Integrity Racing League. Matthew Thunderster is going to be the host to his own dominating showcase. He's right now top of the board by a nice margin, and it's going to be about a second and a half so far, 3 laps in, so certainly not going to be a barn burner just yet. But it looks like Dunhorst might have something figured out for this long race pace. Now, for a lot of drivers, qualifying is something where it's a bit lower pressure to put down a hot lap. But when it comes down to racing at a road course, you just want to stay on the track. Right now, of course, it looks like every driver's been able to do so. Casey Shugan have a bit of an issue as we say that. Loses a bit of time, but no major damage for him. Actually, I'll take that back. The hood is gone from that car. We'll find out just why. Looks like he's involved with Cody Smith. And Cody Smith is going to get involved with the 18 machine right there in front of him at the moment of impact, it appears. This is Casey Shun, the number 4 machine. Take a look at just why this incident occurred. And it's going to be Cody Smith getting right into him and slamming right into the inside of the safer, not safer barrier, but it's going to be a barrier nonetheless, getting into the tire wall. And the 18 of Smith gets some damage as well. Not as much. They're both able to recuperate and get back out on the track, but not what they want to see. Kyle Cooper loses a bit of time as well, has a bit of pressure from Joe Dinsmore at the same time. So right now, 4 laps in, drivers in the midfield are getting pressured hard as the leader still able to pull away. And now Thomas Bresci running about dead even, if not slightly quicker than Matthew Dunhorst. And when we say slightly, we mean slightly. It's all coming down to hundredths of a second here when it comes down to lap times and lap speeds. Blake Gorn right now going to be third on the board. He's lost about a half second of the leading pace. Ethan Lane going to be in the same boat as well as Justin Morton tries to come up on him on the inside line there. Looking at the rear end of the Ethan Lane machine, you'll see the pressure is on, and the 26 machine certainly has an adversaries already, but nothing has been made of it for Justin Morton. Your pole sitter not able to get much done just yet. They'll have to wait until it's all over to get something in on the 26. Backing it down to the inside line once again. That apex is oh so crucial. And it looks like Thomas Bresci might have missed it just a bit. He loses a lot of time through this section. And you can see he almost gets it onto the gravel trap there. And Dunhorst just takes it perfectly. Bresci goes a bit wide. Not too much, but every inch does matter. And you can see the way that Dunhorst takes these apexes, takes these corners, it's just a bit different. Looking at the rear end shot there, gets right onto the red and white compared to Bresci, who gets a bit close to it, but not too close to it. And with that being said, not able to get out of the apex, that's going to be a big problem. Might have a bit of a problem with the tires, but it's not much of a problem when you're up in second. It's more of a problem when people catch you. And right now, Bresci is not being caught. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite. He's been able to pass his way up into second, and the only man faster seems to be that Matthew Dunhorst machine. So with Dunhorst on his way, getting right into the apex every single time, it just seems like the 8 machine has something in store for him right now, as he has that lead 5 in out of 41. And with 5 laps in out of 41 and no signs of a yellow flag for the full course at the very least, we will absolutely have a yellow flag, or rather a pit cycle that will be akin to a yellow flag, where these drivers do get a few seconds to recontemplate their mindset, change it all up, and make themselves a more of a refined strategy for the later segment of the race. With that being said, it's not going to be in quite a while. Tires are a big deal. It's going to be a big wiggle by Blake Gordon there, and this is going to be defense to get into the apex. Will it work? Doesn't look like it will. He's going to lose not 1 but 2 spots at that point. And now Morton's up to 4th, Lane's in 3rd, and Blake Gordon follows back down to his qualifying spot of 5th. And now he's in all sorts of trouble. The Jets piece, the number 48 machine, looks to be taking off a bit more than he wanted to, and that's going to be a problem for him at the moment. The 48 machine able to hold on, but not going to be the way he wanted to start. Blake Gordon holds on to that number 48 machine as Don Stevenson in the 47 now begins to chase him down to the snap-on number 47, snapping in to the mindset of the driver. Don Stevenson has something going for him so far as he rounds the turns as well as anyone else, if not a bit better. That time by, he was about as fast as the driver in position number 5. So a bit faster than everyone behind him, a bit faster than one driver in front, but these guys up front, the top 4, are just that much quicker than the remainder of the field. Thomas Bresci comes to the line that time by. That's going to be the number 24 machine holding on in second as it's single file a good majority of the pack. Let's go back to the remainder of the field and see what's going on, because right now closest battle to the racetrack seems to be in the middle. Kevin McGarvey there with Cal Filarski. McGarvey there in the number 42 machine chasing down Filarski. It looks like the number 6 Velo machine has some damage on that front end, which does seem to be a bit more common in the back section of the circuit. Kelly Allen, thank you for stopping by. You can see that McGarvey chasing down a driver with damage. It might be a bit easier, but Filarski is not going to make it that way as he goes just a bit wide that time by, and that's going to be a big send-in, and it looked like he carried just a bit too much speed, and it will become easy. McGarvey gets through, and Filarski gets a position taken away from him, and now it's going to be all about regrouping. As you can see, he tries to compensate for the lesser power he has, and it looks like Forrest Smith does as well. Now he's going to be passed by Kyle Cooper, and now it looks like you can see drivers overcompensating for what they don't have at the moment. It's going to be Cody Smith coming up on Forrest Smith right now, and it's going to be a total of 2 Chevys on frame as Cal Filarski going to make it 3, and he's losing more and more time as we speak. The number 6 machine falling down the order so far, and it was a discussion between the Integrity Racing League administrators in their podcast, The Phillip. Filarski, one of those drivers that has not gotten a top 10 just yet, but bonus points in those stage breaks have been what's keeping him up in the championship battle. Right now, though, far out of bonus point contention, as he would have to play the short-term game for a long-term loss, but right now, the short-term has been a loss as well. He might have to write it off and look for the future as Forrest Smith able to get by on this battle, except for Kyle Cooper. Looks like Kyle Cooper might be the best of which so far, able to get into 22nd. Kevin McGarvey far out in front, chasing down Joe Dinsmore in 20th. And the 83 machine of Daniel Foss gets a bit squirrely that time through. He's getting chased down by the 95 in his own right, and this looks to be the closest battle on the racing circuit. Take a closer look at it. It's going to be 1, 2, and almost 3 drivers, no 4 in frame. Alan Rowell going to be in 17th. Brandon Bernhardt in the 81 is in 18th. Daniel Foss going to be 19th, and Joe Dinsmore finally there in 20th. Going to take a lunge at the inside line and then chooses to step back on it. So you're going to think twice of it and think better of it, as we still have a lot of racing here to go. Going to be a nice and smooth move and a respectable move there from Dinsmore to keep himself in the race rather than putting himself in the wall. Alan Rowell going to go around as we say that, and the number 43 machine going to be a bit of trouble. We'll find out just why that happened. The 43 machine going to be the first man we see around on lap 7, and this one looks to be of his own doing. So 7 laps in, everyone's going to be able to clean it up and get back going. But it looks like he's just going to get a bit of a powerful slide and not going to be able to correct it. Thankfully, nobody hits him. Daniel Foss goes down to the inside, Forrest Smith the outside, and that will bring out no yellow. We're all good. Everyone's going to be able to slow down nice and steady and get themselves going. Once again, Forrest Smith going to be able to trouble, but he's going to be able to get straight immediately. Alan Rowell, though, now way far back. Only one retiree. That's going to be Casey Shue so far, and we saw that Casey had that front end damage. The motor might have blown there, and he is going to be done and done as a result. Matthew Thunder's going to be on the way there. Thomas Bresci is in second, and now Ethan Lane has the one driver going to his inside. That's Justin Morton, and Morton will think better of it as well. Lane going to be able to keep that spot. We'll see if that's going to bite him back on the exit. No, it won't, but Justin Morton still able to get a good one and keep himself right there in the mix. That time by, it appeared that Justin Morton was about 0.3 of a second faster than your man in the 3rd spot, so keep that in your mind. It's going to be Ethan Lane, who was the dominator of the ovals. Right now, still doing good at a road course, but not where he wants to be. Still looking to get into the front of that pack, and right now, he's just a few spots away from it. Driver of the number 1 machine, Alec Daffin, who was in the top 5 2 races in a row, actually fell back to about 6th or 7th last time we went racing in the Ignite Series, looking to get a bit of redemption here. He's currently going to be in 15th and chasing down Jacob Fife. Braxton Luis going to be in the mix as well, and Braxton in that 13th spot is now going to be fighting with DJ Stagner, and Luis able to get a really nice and smooth qualifying run in that number 15, so it looks like right now might have to wait just a bit more to get back out up front for the racing, but Braxton Luis proves to be a fast driver once again, just has not been able to get those gears turning as much in the race, but still strong so far in the mid-pack. As one driver loses a lot of time, that's going to be Rob Ackley. Ackley is in 9th, their Daytona winner, so he has a lot of points on the cushion there, but 8 laps in out of 41, he's going to have to turn up the jets once again to chase down Alan Dobbs. Dobbs able to make it by him in the 05 machine, as Michael Stroll there in 10th, the AC Delco 38, going to give him a bit of a hard time. He falls down into that 10th spot here, as it looks like Nick Tarabuck going to be able to chase him down. The 29 and the 38, I believe, going to be teammates in the 38 and 22 right in front, so it's going to be some good communication and a lot of lessons learned between driver and driver. That's the great thing about having a teammate in a race. You'll be able to get some information off them, see what drives better, what drives worse. These drivers are all given an equal setup every race 9th. There's going to be no disparity between them. iRacing is able to set them up so every single car has the exact same performance, fine-tuned accurately to the way they are in the real world. And as a result, it's going to be all about the way these drivers inherit or interpret these driving characteristics. And right now, having a driver of his life is going to be Thomas Bressi there in second, as he has Ethan Lane chasing him down 9 laps in at a 41. Almost a quarter of the way through this one already. No caution has waved, and strategy going to become a big factor as Bressi gets a bit of a better exit that time through and goes just a bit wider there. Going to almost skate out of line, and you can see the 22 machine right out of frame. It's a 26 and 24. We're looking good so far as it's 3 drivers, single file in the mix. Bressi holds on though. Ethan Lane going to be right there as well. And Chris Deweese, thank you once again. In proud collaboration with TrackCams22.com, I was able to develop a few more cameras for our own, and that's going to be something you only see live on FTN, so keep that in mind. We love to innovate here, and that is exactly what we hope to do. Thomas Bressi right now innovating with the way he's driving, as it looks like he's still able to keep himself out in front of this battle, and it looks like right now the Chevys are not dominating. It's a Ford out front, and right behind Bressi, 2 Toyotas, actually now going to be almost 3 as the battle behind him in Stevenson, Mikas, and Blake Gordon intensifies. But Chad Mikas now able to get himself back out in front. It's going to be almost a switchback there from the Don Stevenson machine, riding on board once more with Chad Mikas. You can see now getting up into the top 5. The 25 machine has made his moves, and he's got 2 drivers chasing him hot and heavy, and it's going to be one of which, of course, the driver of the 48 and Blake Gordon, and it's the 48 and the 47 in tandem right now, as they all come in to the same segment. One driver going to lose a bit of time there. Alan Dobbs falls down into 9th, and Rob Ackley makes his way into 8th. And right now, Michael Stroll, Ackley's teammate, might be able to go for the taking here, as Alan Dobbs goes a bit higher. The 05 machine right there, and Michael Stroll in 10th spot, right in the mix for the first time in the battle for the 9th spot. And you can see now it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers fighting in the top 10. Braxton Deweese rounds out this pack that has a good shot, and it seems like as they make their way in once again, Alan Dobbs has the edge, but he lost about 4 seconds on this lap alone, so certainly something happened there. He's able to keep it going and keep it straight, but Michael Stroll knows he might have an opportunity to make something happen. Last time by for Michael Stroll, his best lap, he was 2 seconds slower than it, as right now a 38 machine has ran a 1 minute and 38.237 compared to his best lap, a 136.8. 5.5. So evidently getting much slower Michael Stroll is, but that's going to be a product of natural tire wear. Nothing out of the ordinary for the 38 machine, as that Chevy Camaro still continues to keep fighting. As it looks like right now, one driver that's absolutely fighting the wheel is the driver involved in the closest battle in the race, Kevin McGarvey and Kyle Cooper. That time by, Cooper looks to be in the losing end of it, but it's not over just yet, as the 42 machine going to be able to get by him. And looks like McGarvey's still there in 21st, and he's gaining a lot of time on the battle in the top 20. We last checked on Kevin McGarvey a few laps ago when we got in the battle involving guys such as Forrest Smith, Boomer Logan, Cal Filarski. And right now, well, Filarski's falling down the charts all the way down to second last on the circuit, which is going to be 26. It looks like Brandon Bernhardt now has some pressure for the man in number 42, Kyle Cooper. Don't count him out as well. As we look back up once again, Blake Gordon still being chased down by the Don Stevenson machine, and as the levers are going to be able to cross the line once again, it's going to be lap 12 next time through. The number 8 machine, Matthew Dunhurst, is pulling away, and Dunhurst, who said he was worried about peaking too early this season, I don't think he has any reason to be concerned just yet. He is on a tear so far. That number 8 machine has been able to pull away and make 4 seconds in 11 laps. That might not sound like much, but with the competition in this field, they might not be experienced road racers. They're putting up some lap times worthy of some experience and some kudos here. A lot of practice goes into these road races. Now, as far as I'm aware so far, the drivers, including Dunhurst, have been able to shave down lap times by a total of 3 whole seconds. Now, if that doesn't show dedication, I don't know what does. Okayama is an incredibly hard track to drive. I've had experience with it myself on iRacing. The Miatas are a much easier car to drive, and to tell you what, those are still a challenge. Imagine multi-ton machines such as the 8 machine that the Matthew Dunhurst driver, of course, is driving. How's it going to feel to have so little downforce, so little mechanical grip, just having to use what you have as experience and keeping yourself going, well, it takes a lot. Braxton Weiss up to 12th right now as this is becoming a draft train, and as they go down the DRS zone, Formula 1 fans would call this a DRS train. Drag reduction system is not in NASCAR. It's not in any other series beside Formula 1. It's used to enhance the passing seen in open wheel racing, but stock cars, we've quite frankly never had that issue. We've always had great passing, so Michael Stroll knows he can make something of the drivers in front of him, including Alan Dobbs and Nick Tarabuck, who's on him right now, knows he can make something of Michael Stroll himself. And as we look closer and closer into this battle, you can tell that Tarabuck knows he's got something in store for the driver of that number 38. Looking a bit closer inside that cockpit, you can see that the number 29 machine has that rear view mirror to its disposal, but right now all eyes ahead on Michael Stroll. Right now there's going to be a two-car tandem right in front of the Tarabuck machine, and you could see that Stroll able to back it in nice and delicate. It's going to be a gentle maneuver there for the driver of the number 38 machine as he sees his teammate is battling. If anything happens up there, it's going to be all for the taking for the number 38 machine, and the 29 is going to have to pick up the sprats. As you can see, Braxton right there as well. It's going to be the DJ Stagner machine in the mix, position number 13. And Stagner having strong runs all week long at the Fireball Talks NASCAR YouTube channel. We saw him last week on Thursday night in the Highline Racing League Centennial. He was running second place to Dylan Clark for a long while there. He is a great road course racer, but right now he's having a bit of trouble there. You can see the handwork inside that cockpit. It's going to be a bit of a trickier run here at Okayama compared to Watkins Glen. And quite frankly, Watkins Glen is a much more memorable circuit as Braxton Weiss gets down to the inside line of Tarabuck, and it looks like that time behind the number 15 is able to take that spot, and he will make it so. The 15 double file with the 29. Matthew Thunhorst, how about this man? He's going to be almost 5 seconds up on the battle for second. Thomas Bresci going to be there in second right now, but Ethan Lane has not been able to make much of him. These guys are in a three-car tandem right now. They have not made a move on one another. They are just breaking the draft. Chad Mikas, as a matter of fact, has broken about a second or so on the drivers behind him, Don Stevenson and Blake Gordon, and you can see as the depth perception becomes a bit more enhanced as they go down through the straightaway. Mikas has gained major time, and what looked to be about a car length or so, you could see they're all out of frame. Mikas is now clearly in that fifth spot, and nobody else is there with them as Justin Morton holds on strong here in Okayama. Ethan Lane in the mix as well in the number 26 machine as the American Ethanol M&M's machine, thanking the heroes, and it looks like the hero of his race once again himself fighting hard to keep himself in the podium, with Justin Morton giving him some big time pressure. Alan Dobbs now going to be oh so close to Rob Ackley. He's going to get in the grass that time by, and this is what we mean about picking up the scraps. He goes wide now, and it's going to be all about Michael Stroll picking up and getting something going as Dobbs is going to make his big squabble, and that's going to be the first big incident that we've seen out of the 05 machine all night long. A mistake like that, you don't want to make it in crunch time here. 14 laps in out of 41. Every lap matters with a race that won't have green flag, or rather won't have yellow flag pit stops, won't have yellow flags at all on the larger scale. Full course yellows are not to be expected tonight, as the 15 machine is expecting to make something happen to Michael Stroll the way that he's been going. That time by, DeWeese was a total of half a second faster than the man in 10th, so it could be a top 10 night for the driver in that 15. Patience is key. Chris, I think you're absolutely right about that. That's the 15 machine right now playing a delicate game, keeping Nick Tarabuck at bay, and it seems like Tarabuck not able to make much out of it so far. Alan Dobbs still running away from that Michael Stroll machine, diving it a bit hard that time by, and we've seen the dangers of pushing yourself into the corner like that beforehand. You don't want to do that when it is, of course, crunch time. As you can see, the driver of the 05 machine not going to make that mistake so far. Just going to keep it nice and smooth. Rob Ackley there in 8th, and then Blake Gordon in the 7th spot. Keeps himself in tow. He's fallen about 2/10, or rather 2 positions off of his qualifying run. Still there in the top 10, chasing down Don Stevenson. Chad Mikas has been usurped by Justin Morton, Ethan Lane, and Thomas Bresci, but it's going to be Matthew Thunhorst still the man at the top of the board here. Blake Gordon going to be in that 7th spot, and Rob Ackley now going to be pressured by Alan Dobbs once again. And it looks to be some big-time pace from Alan Dobbs despite any mistake that he has made so far. Looking at the onboard once again, the 22 machine has a load of Alan Dobbs in his rear view mirror. This is much more close to what we see in the rear view mirror exclusively, but I'm certain that no matter what the number 22 machine is seeing, he's certainly going to be a bit more worried about the pressure right behind his back, and he's going to have to keep himself, well,
enduring, as he's going to have one eye on that rear view, one eye in the front, and he's going to have to keep pushing like it is nothing. The pressure can't get to a driver in a situation just like this. Thomas Bressi able to pull away just a bit that time through. Matthew Thunor is still going to be able to make his way through. He's going to be 5 flat seconds ahead of your man in second place. So it looks like it's going to be a stagnated position. Alan Dobbs not stagnating at all. This is the battle for the race so far. It seems like these guys have just had it on control, and they've been able to put on a show. Dobbs goes out of the inside line once again, thinks better of it, and he will not make the move, but you can see that while he's chasing down the Horizon-sponsored car, a move for him is on the horizon, as a Rob Acton will just have to wait and see if he can defend any time now. Looks like there's going to be something made. Looking at the back of the pack right now, Trevor Trago fighting with Kevin McGarvey. McGarvey falls back into that 23rd position as they come down side by side there. Boomer Logan get into the mix as well. That number 25 spot he's in, but McGarvey holds on strong. And Kevin still has a clean card here. His best lap of 139.287, so a bit off of the leading pace. But still, it looks like these guys have something in store for the later segment as 15 laps in to their tires. It seems like it's going to be all about waiting until that pit stop for drivers not named Matthew Thunor. You can see the gap is absolutely unbelievable coming down the straight that time by. Bressi was a bit faster, 0.2 faster as a matter of fact, and now he's a total of about a half second faster at that time at the stripe. So while Matthew does have a major lead, looks like Thomas Bressi might be reeling him in 16 in, out of 41, almost halfway into this event. It might be Thomas Bressi from here on out, the man to watch at Okayama. Ethan Lane, that third position right behind Bressi. You can see Justin Moore going to be able to hold on in tow in fourth. Chad Mikas is in fifth. Don Stevenson not being fought by Blake Gordon in that seventh spot, as Rob Ackley 10 seconds behind Blake Gordon. He's still fighting oh so hard as Alan Dobbs has a load of Braxton DeWeese right behind him, and DeWeese still keeping him honest here coming out of the stripe. Very soon, DeWeese keeps himself going, not going to make an outrageous move just yet. Still, it is going to be a hard-fought battle there as Alan Rutwell looks to be the next driver to be put down one lap. The first driver, as a matter of fact, to be put down one lap on pace. The number 43 Spam Machine not going to be happy about this one as Cal Forlarski not too far behind the leader as well. And it looks like it's going to be Matthew Thunor coming up in his first lap cars of the night. Now, lap machines at a road course are inevitable. How long these circuits are and how difficult they are, some drivers not able to stand the test of time depending on the night. It happens, and that's going to be very bad for them and their winning opportunity, because no full course yellows means it's going to be all about the way you drive this track every single lap. And even one inoptimal lap, well, that's going to be a big problem. Thomas Bressi knowing that for sure, as he now appears to be the fastest man on the circuit, short of Ethan Lane. Lane that time by about 0.2 of a second faster in the draft of Bressi, but these two are still faster than your leaders, about 0.3 of a second faster every lap. So watch out, because it looks like now the number 24 machine might be able to gain in on the battle for position number 1. Thomas Bressi on the move with the number 26 machine of Ethan Lane behind him, and 24, when it comes to numbers, 24, 25, and 26 are all on the top 5. Justin Morton only splitting them up by 1 position as Chad Mickelson, the 25, rounds out that 3-number pair. They're oh so close to the top of the board. I tell you what, Matthew Thunor's not concerned just yet. He'll just have to keep hitting his marks here. Still has a major lead. And now, it looks like that lead might have a bit of a problem. No, it's not going to be a problem at all. It looks like smoke going to be from a driver beforehand. Alan Rowell able to get through, and 28 racers indeed for Buffett. It looks like some guys could not go overseas here in Japan. We will be back in the Americas for the remainder of this leg of the season. Talladega, I believe, is going to be the next race on the schedule. So heading back home to the south, one of the cathedrals of speed, Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama. Going to be fast-paced racing to contrast, of course, great racing, but the pace of play is a bit slower than what we see at an oval. But that just means it's a bit more of a test to see who can be fast on an overall slower racing circuit. Talladega Superspeedway, one of the first circuits in the world to hit 200 miles an hour on a closed circuit with any car, and NASCAR, one of the first, of course, sanctioning bodies to be able to hit them with the Winged Warriors at the era of the 1970s and 1980s. Unbelievable speeds. Talladega is still one of those fast circuits, but Okayama, not known for its stock car racing. Okayama, of course, up in Japan, a more international racing scene with endurance, even Formula One, those sorts of racing disciplines with open wheel endurance.
legacy racing, it's not akin to a stock car racing circuit such as Sonoma or Watkins Glen or even the Rovos that we've seen rise to popularity. It seems like these cars are made for it if they're put to the test, and put to the test by the right driver. Right now, it looks like Bresci, the fastest man on the circuit, and only one of which to put down at 137, that time by 18 laps in. Looking back once again, Nick Tarabuk going to be hot on the heels of the Michael Stroll machine. Braxton Weiss there as well. Alan Dobbs still is in frame with the battle of Rob Ackley going on right in front of the 38-15, and it looks like Braxton Weiss able to get by, that time by on Michael Stroll. We'll take an instant replay to see. It looks like he's been like that for quite a while. DeWeese now in that top 10, and he's now gaining in on Alan Dobbs. This is the recovery that you need to see out of any driver. It takes discipline, and it takes, of course, patience, as mentioned in chat, to get back up through the field after having a not great start. Of course, Braxton has been close to the top 10 all race long, but he started almost in the top 5, so having to fall back a bit before regaining position, it's always a challenge for a driver as he blinks out just a bit there. I do believe that's on the 29's end, or rather the 15's end. Apologies there, as it looks like Braxton having a bit of an internet issue, and will follow the driver right behind him. This is Nick Tarabuk, and he is also going to be able to make his way back up into the battle for the top 10, and I'm not sure what these drivers are going to say, because right now the 15 is having just a bit of trouble. DeWeese loading in, loading out. And we'll check the front of the pack once again. Matthew Thorner is still going to be on the move. Thomas Bresci there in second. Ethan Lane in third. And Justin Morton there in position number 4. Now, administrators, in the case of a driver lagging in a situation such as that, they do have the ability, or rather the authority, to make a decision on whether or not the driver will be penalized. Now, I don't believe that's going to be much. It was only through a few corners. It looks like DeWeese is good to go now, but as we will not look at that situation for just a bit to make sure the internet issues are cleared up, Braxton will be able to be good to go here. His internet not going to deny him of a strong run. Braxton back on the way here and still running strong, fighting to get right with Alan Dobbs and Rob Ackley. 19 in out of 41. I'm 19 laps in out of 41. We do not appear to have yellow flags today, but nonetheless, we will give a segment to our sponsors at Next Level Racing. High-quality sim racing equipment since 2009. Go to nextlevelracing.com for the best equipment in the sim racing world. We'll be right back with your first advertisement break. Next Level Racing break, to be exact, here in the Integrity Ignite Series at Okayama. Thank you for your support, and we will return shortly. And as we come back to the live feed, you can see Ethan Lane is now on pit road, the first driver to be on pit road, it appears, and he's going to come out immediately thereafter. He comes in at our little Next Level Racing commercial break, and he's been on a Next Level run so far, and that's your first Next Level commercial break for the night. Next Level Racing, high-quality sim racing performance equipment since 2009. Back to the action here is going to be still Ethan Lane on his way about halfway into this event. While we still have the time, it looks like it is about 22 laps to go, so you know what that means. Your trackhands22.com, crank it up uninterrupted. Looks like we're a bit back-to-back on segments here as Ethan Lane goes a bit wide. We'll be right back as the great racing action continues here at Okayama. And as you can see, drivers still coming to pit road. That's our track cams radio.com. Crank it up. Track cams for Gorman's, the best cameras on iRacing. Use their link in the description to get the best cameras for your own. Drivers coming in include Justin Morton. That time by, going to cycle out in the top 5. It looks like Braxton DeWeese going to lead a group of drivers in, and DeWeese appears to have some front end damage. We'll see how much that impacts him here, as Rob Ackley there with DJ Stagner in the mix as well. Alan Rodwell going to be on his way. It looks like he'll be able to get out just a bit earlier than this pack. Rodwell is currently 1 lap down with 20 laps to go here, as it looks like it's going to be Ethan Lane right there on the track, but it's going to be Braxton DeWeese leading this group, including Stagner and Ackley out onto the circuit once again. Don Stevenson with 20 laps to go is scored as your race leader, making a great run of it so far. Matthew Thorners is still going to be there in first, Ethan Lane in second, and now Thomas Bresci cycles back down into the 3rd position effectively. Now we say effectively because Don Stevenson has yet to pit. This is a one-stop race, so he will have to come down pit road no matter what, and even if he does not yet, he will have to eventually. It could be this lap by. We will see whether or not he chooses to come down. It is of course an option, and it looks like that is the option that he will choose. New race leader going to be Matthew Thunhorst in 11 seconds or so, as Thunhorst is going to round the final segment in the same way that Don Stevenson did, if not just a bit faster. These new tires should be about 3 seconds quicker at the start of the run, and with 20 laps, it looks like about 4 seconds of degradation as the night goes on. Thornton is going to come around for his first full lap this time by, and for the driver of the number 8 machine, this lap will be his fastest in quite some time. For Matthew Thornton at the 138.216, still getting used to it as the tires begin to warm up once again. The DMG United number 8 machine uniting himself with the pavement as Ethan Lane goes a bit wide that time by. Now, the lap car is going to be right there in the leading battle. It's Ethan Lane right there in front of Trevor Drago. Thomas Bresci third, slipping and sliding. And I'll tell you what, that number 24 machine knows what is up, as he's able to keep himself on the track in spite of the wear and a bit of tear, but not all too much just yet, as Don Stevenson cycles back out in 7th. Gail Brooks going to be coming in with Jacob Fife that time by. They're now in 11th and 12th respectively. We'll see how long they stay on pit road. The average time on pit road appears to be about a 35-second pit stop. Matthew Thunner spent about 8, or rather, now over 8, 14 seconds in his box, and then 34 seconds, 0.8 on the pit lane in total. So the driver of the number 8 machine, despite a bit of a longer pit stop than some, still able to come out with the lead. It was a 0.3 of a second quicker pit stop to the man in second. So what a difference a few tenths of a second makes, because now it's going to be Joe Dinsmore right in front of Ethan Lane, and with Dinsmore right there in the mix, not doing anything wrong per se, but still right there in between the leaders, it will be Ethan Lane with a bit of a gap to make up, and it will be rather amplified due to the presence of Dinsmore and other drivers. It will, of course, help Matthew Thornhorst. That time by going to be an average pace boost of about 2 seconds on his average lap time. So for Matthew Thornhorst, that time by, it will be a total of about 1 minute and 30 odd, but we'll find out how quick it is. This is going to be the stripe once again, and Matthew Thornhorst makes a 135.486. Welcome back, Thornhorst. That's going to be the speed we've seen out of the leaders at the very start of the run. He's only 0.3 of a second slower than his all-time fastest lap, and now he'll have to get used to the curve of the tire wear once again. Thornhorst back on his way, and the 8 machine is on a move. 24 laps in, out of 41. Only 18 laps remain here in Okayama. And with that being said, it's all about persistence and endurance. And during the race, well, it looks like Matthew Thornhorst has done the best job at just that. Justin Morton going to be in 4th right now. Don Stevenson is now in 7th, loses a bit of time that lap. We'll find out just what happened. It might have been just a bit of time off the track, and that it was. He just goes off to the gravel for only a moment, gets himself situated, does not lose a position. Alan Dobbs is still 3 seconds behind him. Closest battle of the racing circuit, it looks to be not with Jacob Fife, but it will be with the driver of the number 26 machine, as he has Boomer Logan right there with him, and Thomas Bresci chasing him down at the same time. Exalta's number 24 machine, Jeff Gordon, a noted road racer in his own right, as he's now going to be chasing down in the shades of Jeff Gordon, Ethan Lane, as it's going to be 26 and 24 doing battle once again. And we saw these two duel at Rockingham on the last lap. A bit of contact between them. They run up front week after week. Very consistent, very persistent drivers, and they're putting on yet another great show, exemplifying why they are 2 of the stars of this league. And you can see Bresci there with Ethan Lane keeping themselves intact. We're right on board with the hood camera once more of Thomas Bresci. See what is inside.
going to come down to the stripe inside of the 26. Not going to do anything with it. Thinks better of it once again. And it's all going to be about patience and a bit more calculation with their strategy. You can make a bit of a brazen move from time to time, but making one so early, and I mean early a bit loosely here, it's been more than halfway through the race, but making a move so brazen so early into the second run, you don't want to do that because it seems like it's just going to take a bit more commitment than that just to make a lunge work right. We've seen drivers already take a few lunges and it has not worked out, even if they have been single car lunges. If you dive in a bit too early, bit too late, you will either end up with a much slower car and get yourself tapped out the way, or end up in the gravel and might be done for the night. An off-camber turn once again for Thomas Bressi. Takes it a bit better than Ethan Lane. Gets side by side with him, and this could be a battle for the taking. Ethan Lane now going to see that Thomas Bressi gets to his inside line. Nice move that time by. Not able to make much of it. Capitalization is key. And we will ride on board with Thomas Bressi here as he's able to go for the pass that time by. Let's take a look. As you can see now, side by side he is. This is on board with Thomas Bressi, and he's able to fend off Ethan Lane that time by, and puts himself in a much better spot for the remainder of the night. Lane now going to have to come back on him. You can see the rear view mirror in Bresci's onboard camera, and this is exactly what he sees with his eyes. This is not the cockpit camera from iRacing. This is a VR output, so exactly what he sees, you see as well. And Bressi able to make that move nice and smooth. Get himself now up into position number 2 and barrel down the back straightaway with no pressure. You can see the handwork and the, of course, hand-eye coordination. All he sees with his hands is that virtual steering wheel, but the physicality of seeing the remainder of the track out there like you can touch it, it means so much more than you can imagine. And Thomas Bressi using that to his advantage. We send it back to live feed. Ethan Lane there in third as Bressi gets up in the second. And Justin Morton there in a second. You can see now down to the fourth. As a matter of fact, your pole sitter having a great run so far. Not where he wants to be, of course, started the race up in the top of the board. So a lot of potential to start this one off. Has not been able to put all of it to fruition, but still a great run for the TRD number 9 machine. And he's looking forward to having more races like this as the season goes on. Matthew Thornton's going to come into the stripe very soon as a 5-second gap. Ethan Lane, a 4-second gap on Thomas Bressi. And it looks like when it comes out of the top 10, he has about a 34-second gap on Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese with front-end damage is still in that top 10. And we'll try to take a closer look with a closer drone shot here. You can see it's a bit of a crease on the left side of the right side as well, including the, of course, smack dab middle of that nose. And while he does have that damage, he's still about faster than the good majority of this field. Last lap there, he was about a second faster than Rob Ackley in 11th, so no pressure in losing that position. Matthew Dunner is going to come down to the line this time by and make it 15 laps to go. We have 2 more segments for Next Level Racing for tonight's broadcast. Next Level Racing, the best sim racing equipment since 2009, will give you your second break of the action. We will be right back. You won't miss a thing. We will be back in a moment's notice. That is your second Next Level Racing advertisement break. Next Level Racing, high quality sim racing equipment since 2009. Visit nextlevelracing.com for all your sim racing needs. Proud partner of the Integrity Racing League. Matthew Thunder still leads with 15 laps to go here, and it's still going to be that 15th lap that he is on when it comes to the laps remaining. So still on that lap, taking his sweet time here, and it looks like Justin Morton out in front of the battle between Blake Gordon. As you can see, 2 lap cars battling there. That's going to be Forrest Smith in the mix there. We'll take a better look at it as the number 83 machine gets out in front of Trevor Drago. Blake Gordon going to step out of it as the battle for looks like a lap position down in the 20th odd spot is going to get him a bit squirrely. Gordon right now with the Jets Pizza number 48 machine is in the 5th spot with Chad Mikas on his rear end right now. So it's going to be Chad Mikas making up a lot of time. We'll see how much more he can make up as we ride on board with Blake Gordon once again. How about we take a look at the rear view of that number 48 machine? That's what we're going to do. See that Micah seems to be absolutely sealed to the ground there, and coming down to the back straightaway, now the front straightaway as a matter of fact, it's going to be all up to Blake Gordon making a nice and smooth lap. That time by, Mikas was 0.6 of a second faster, a bit more than half a second right there. With 14 remaining, you can see Mikas takes a bit of a sharper line of least resistance. He's not going to take it. Trevor Trago gets on the grass there. He blinks out, as a matter of fact. Won't be able to see what happened to him. Mikas is still there, getting closer and closer. This time by, we'll take a look at whether or not he lunges as we ride aboard the driver of that number 25. Now, Chad Mike is getting oh so close to the battle between himself and Blake Gordon. He's going to have to think, of course, a bit more than he was beforehand. Putting in mindless laps is a bit different when you have drivers right there with you. And it looks like this time by, the hairpin coming in, and he will break at about the same distance, if not just a bit later, than Blake Gordon. You can see how much better he comes into this corner, gets so much more time with Forrest Smith and Joe Dinsmore right there in front of the driver of the number 48 machine. You have to think twice before making anything happen. That might be nice, but it won't be nice too much for the driver of the 48 machine, knowing he has to work with this traffic. He will have to work with it before, of course, the hole is cut, and Chad Mikas gets that hole cut for him once again. And now, Blake Gordon has to continue deliberation between drivers such as the 95 and the 94. Boomer Logan right there with Joe Dinsmore right into the mix, the both of which are, as it's going to be the Forrest Smith machine, the 84, now behind the two of them battling. Chad Mike is still getting there in the closest battle on the racing surface so far. Ethan Lane going to have 3 seconds on Justin Morton. Thomas Bresci has 3 seconds on Ethan Lane, but Matthew Donoris has a 6-second gap here in Okayama, and ever since the drop of the green flag when he got that great jump off of the start, he's just been the man to watch all night long. Watch out, because I do believe this could be one for the taking. It ain't over till it's over, granted, but if he's able to hold on, it could be Donoris' night to cash it in and get a victory overseas in Japan. This is one of those races that anyone wants to win. One of the hardest races to get done, as a matter of fact. And with all the pressure, all the anticipation on the line for the checkered flag, a man like Donoris will have to keep himself in good standings with the remainder of the field. That he's done so far has not gotten in any altercation with lap car, any altercation at all, as a matter of fact. And Bresci holds on strong in the number 24. Ethan Lane's going to be there in third, and Justin Morton's in fourth. 13 laps to go. If you enjoyed the action, make sure to leave a like on the channel and subscribe. It will be greatly appreciated in helping the growth of this channel and the promotion of the Integrity Racing League. Great drivers, putting on a great show. Once again, we truly do hope you enjoy the Integrity Fill-Up 150-kilometer, as so far, it's been a great show with 13 laps left on the board. Looks like Nick Tarabuk going to be fighting there with Alan Dobbs. Dobbs gets a bit loose that time by, going to be able to keep it nice and smooth. And the number 29 machine, I'll tell you what, 9th spot, able to make a bit more of a maneuver there on the Alan Dobbs machine, getting closer and closer. That time by, about 0.4 of a second quicker. Not too much, but enough to make a difference, as it's going to be Braxton DeWeese gaining into the both of them. That time by, it seems like with DeWeese getting closer and closer and Alan Dobbs getting a bit slower, it could become a 3-car battle there for 8th. And you can see now DeWeese is in frame in that 15, and Dobbs and Tarabuk get closer and closer, like it is no distance between them. They're about conjoined with one another right now. Dobbs going to be leading this 2-car trail around the field. With only a dozen remaining, it's here and it is now that they will battle. And coming down the back straightaway, despite the damage, Nick Tarabuk looks to be about as fast as Braxton DeWeese, if not maybe a bit slower. The draft's going to be able to cut a hole for him 2 cars deep compared to Tarabuk only getting 1. But still, patience is key. Alan Dobbs holding off because Nick Tarabuk has not made a move just yet. It seems like he'll wait until later to find out if there's any time to make anything happen. Braxton DeWeese going to be there in that number 15 machine. DeWeese still in the taking for what could be yet another spot. A top 10 night he might have secured, so long as Rob Ackley doesn't come up on him. It looks like he will not. He was still 2 seconds faster than Ackley that time by, so no worries to be passed, as it seems like Braxton continues to gain more and more time on his adversaries, while DJ Stagner gains more and more time on the Rob Ackley machine. And Ackley being given a bit more pressure than what was anticipated. The DJ Stagner machine getting oh so close. Cal Filarski goes around the outside, almost blocks Stagner there. Stagner's going to be able to make it in the blackout number 64 machine, and he's going to not have a blackout of concentration. That's going to take a lot of coordination, and that coordination is what you need in a race like this. If you're not able to make everything happen, not able to link 2 and 2 together and make 4, well, you will be out, and the score will be settled without you. Justin Morton getting closer and closer to Ethan Lane. Your opponents that are coming back into play very late in this event, and for good reason. Right now, Ethan just seems to have something not going as well as he wanted it for him. 2 wins of the season so far for Ethan Lane, so certainly one of those drivers that have been dominant in the cut so far. It just seems like tonight, not the way he's wanted. Still a podium if he can hold on, but it looks like now it's going to be a bit of pressure to hold on. The 9 machine getting oh so close on Ethan Lane. That time by at Chad Mikas there in 5th with Blake Gordon right there behind him. Mikas able to get by the Blake Gordon machine, and now top 5 dreams might be fading for the Blake Gordon driver if he's not able to make much more happen here and now. He will have to turn on the jets once again as he's got a lap car Gabble right behind him. Matthew Thunder is still closer and closer to getting back to the stripe, this time by in his own world, settling the score by 8 total seconds in front of the guys behind him. It has been a clinic put on by the driver of the number 8 machine, having 8 seconds between him and the next man. He gained 7/10 of a second that time by. Justin Morton almost gets it done on Ethan Lane. They're double file this time by. Look at them go side by side, and Morton's going to be able to make it oh so close to clear, and that it will not be, but he'll have the edge going into the turn this time by, and now it looks like it is just about settled for only a brief moment. We'll see how long it's going to be able to battle, as it looks like 10 laps to go, your final Next Level Racing segment of the night. Next Level Racing, proud partner of the Integrity Racing League and the Integrity Octane Series, and they have been providing high-quality sim racing equipment since 2009. Visit nextlevelracing.com for more information. We will be right back. And with 10 laps to go, this battle is still developing, but it looks like right now Justin Morton has the edge. 10 laps remaining. Next Level Racing's final break of the event. Next Level Racing, bringing the next level of performance to every driver as a proud partner of the Integrity Racing League. And right now, one driver having a next level race, of course, is going to be Matthew Thunders. Now has a 9-second gap on the field, but don't count out a driver like Thomas Bresci. He's able to pull away on the remainder of the pack as well. He now has a total of 5 seconds on Justin Morton, who is in 3rd, so still a great run for the Morton machine. Ethan Lane there in 4th. Chad Mike is going to be in position number 5. Number 25 machine for Big Evil Designs, looking big and bad out there tonight, able to make things happen at his will. So a great showing for the driver of the number 25 machine, Chad Mikas, one to watch as the season goes on, if he keeps up performances just like this. They always say the road courses, they're always about the driver's skill. And right now, Chad proven to be one of those skillful drivers here in the Integrity Night Series. He has only gained spots on his green flag performance. He has not had to worry, or rather benefit, from drivers falling out or drivers spinning in front of him and just getting a lucky break. It has been all skill, all pure performance for Chad so far. And with 9 laps to go, it's evident he'll try to keep it that way. Boomer Logan going to get in the grass there, in the gravel as well. And now the lap battle continues, as it looks like Joe Dinsmore gets the edge in 19th. Kyle Cooper, the highest driver on that lead lap. He's 18th so far, and still has a lot of time on the battle between Dinsmore, Smith, and Boomer Logan. You may not realize it, and you may not think that as a viewer, but even these points outside the top 20 matter crucially in the championship battle. Drivers like Trevor Tragle have had strong runs early in the season, and having a bit of a bounce back here in the battle with the lap drivers, it means much more than getting one more spot might in the, say, top 5. 5th to 4th, a big thing of course, but it doesn't mean as much as having a bounce back night in the back of the field, getting a bit more time of the adversaries here. It will be crucial coming down to the remainder of the season. We have 4 consecutive weeks of racing before an off week, and then we begin our first season's conclusion. 2 seasons make up this year's segment of the racing action, 2 15-week racing seasons. And right now, this first one getting to its first road course of the year before Talladega takes its toll on a Talladega night very soon. But still, these guys have to get out of Japan to make it happen. Forrest Smith right there in front of the Trevor Trago and Boomer Logan battle. Looks like Trago's going to almost get in the gravel there and get a bit of an overturned machine into the turn. Nonetheless, a nice and smooth maneuver to correct that car, but certainly still not what is wanted. Matthew Thunders holds on to that first spot, and and still holds on nice and steady. The driver of the number 8 machine is still putting together the race of legend. 8.5 seconds up on Thomas Bressi, and Bressi almost gets in the gravel there, able to keep it nice and smooth. And this time by, with 7 laps remaining, how about we take a lap on board the driver of the 8 machine and see how it is out in front. Donor's last lap, 137.931, his best lap overall, a 135.16, faster than any driver in the field all night long, save for Thomas Bressi. Bressi appears to have the fastest lap of the night, but not the fastest overall. It's been Matthew Donor's tried and true as he comes down to the final segments. Once again, 8 laps remain, 34 laps in out of 41, and no other driver has been on the way that Matthew Donor's has been as he comes up on Cody Smith and Daniel Foss. A battle seems to be brewing between DJ Stagner and Rob Ackley. Looks like Braxton Weiss able to make it up to the 9th spot here. Nick Terabutch, the next man he wants to pass, but right now, Stagner and Ackley, the central focus in the battle camera here, as the 22 and 64 continue to fight one another. Gunners comes out of the line this time by. Let's take a lap on board the race leader uninterrupted and hear all the audio that you're going to get out of this number 8 machine inside the cockpit with your leader, Matthew Thunhorst. And now 6 laps to distance and 9 seconds the difference between Matthew Donos and the remainder of the field. I tell you what, this man has been on fire. Donos holds on strong with now only 6 in the books to put in, as Thomas Bressi still is there in the 2nd spot. Close to battle appears to be between the drivers of the number 64 and now the number 22, Rob Ackley, still there in front of the battle for 11th. Still, DJ Stagner continues to fight to see what he's got in store. Stagner so far, the 64 machine, has a few solid runs put together, but the road course, a great way to put momentum in. It's all about the way the driver interprets the track and all about how they feel it out for themselves. So a race like this at a track like Okayama, putting together one that's very strong, it's going to look good for you and feel good for you as well. It's all about the mental game here in a long race like this. No breaks beside your one pit stop. You get about 15-20 seconds to really get out of the zone, rethink everything you've got going on, and then go back at it like it is nothing. The driver like Dunhorst out in front. The 8 machine knows Daniel Foss right in front of him, going to slip out of the way. He gets in the grass just a bit. Might have had to put himself into a different mindset there. He tried to outbrake the 8 machine and give him a bit more room, but gets in the grass. Thankfully, does not spin out in front of him like the last road course race we broadcasted on this channel. It was a big troublesome moment for Dylan Clark, who's leading with a big gap like Thomas Bressi has right now being put on him. But Matthew Donner is going to keep it clean and keep himself out of trouble, as right now, looks like Don Stevens is going to lose about 2 seconds in this lap, and Chad Michaels loses about a second himself, as Blake Gorham is far out of frame, and Blake now has to deal with Alan Rowell on that racing line. So Blake Gorham not going to be happy about that, as it looks like Rowell going to let him by that time by, or is he? That he is. 5 laps remaining. The battles in the remainder of the field are still going. Boomer Logan gets in the grass there, and looks like Braxton Weiss going to be the next man to come up on him. And Boomer, the National Guard machine, has not been able to guard that front end of his car. Similar to Braxton Weiss' similar situation, of course. But these two are still in a different playing field. Weiss is in the top 10. Boomer Logan is, unfortunately for him, not even on the lead lap. He's 1 lap down as it stands, getting caught up to by the driver in that 9th spot. So Boomer Logan going to have to look for a rebound race next time we go at it at Talladega as the Blackout Racing machine chases down the number 22 machine of Rob Ackley. And Ackley holds on strong like it's nothing. Against Matthew Thunner, still has 9 seconds on the field. If you look more in depth here, you can see coming right down to the curves. He just takes them perfectly. No other driver seems to be able to do that. It's all about maximization of your corner. You saw that Daniel Foss and Cody Smith had a bit of a weaker line. No discredit to them as a driver, of course, but it's all about putting a strong line together, knowing exactly how much speed you have to put in to get exactly as much speed as you want out of the line. If you can't do that, you are in big time trouble. And Thomas Bresci, who knows that, well, he's losing more and more time as a result. Matthew Thuners, who knows it in a similar vein, has just been able to gain and gain. The more effort he puts into the car, the more he gets out of it because he's putting 100% in every lap, just in different segments. The tires continue to wear, that time by a 1:37.923. Laps to go here in Okayama. It is going to be the final few laps for Matthew Thuners to have to conquer to get a victory here in Japan, the first and I believe only overseas race that we see in this tour. Blake Gordon's still going to be able to hold on to that 6th spot. Chad Mikas is still far out in front. 7 seconds he has on the number 48 machine, but anything could still happen. One mistake could make this an equal playing field once again. The Big Evil Designs number 25 machine looking for a big run as well, as Don Stevenson 9 seconds behind the both of them, chasing down Alan Rowell and Joe Dinsmore. Goes out of the inside line of the 43 machine. Rowell is due to be in the gravel trap. As a result, that he is not. He's going to be able to keep it on the track, but goes way wide and loses more and more time. Trevor Trago gets it back there, and it looks like Alan Rowell 2 laps down. Trago chasing down Dinsmore and gets a bit squirrely that time by as a result. Getting a bit more aggressive. It seems like Trevor Trago is now. Forrest Smith is on there with Alan Rowell in tow, and Rowell will give that one up to the driver of the number 84. Only 3 retirees tonight in Kevin McGarvey, Michael Stroll, and Casey Shue. So as it stands, the 216 Sigma machine has been able to hold on as Forrest Smith blinks out just a bit. Trevor Trago, though, has not, and now sees that the 84 machine, blinking and all, is putting some big-time pressure on the Freshen Up Energy machine. He might need to freshen that car up before it goes racing next week, but right now it is what it is, and you're going to have to live with it like it is no big deal. Matthew Dunhurst, 3 laps remain. No big deal for him. No matter how it goes, he could lose more than a second lap, and he would not care. He is still pushing, and as it stands, the fastest man on the track, the race leader by a wide margin over Thomas Bresci, and by a slight, although noticeable, margin over Justin Morton. That time by about 400 of a second faster than the man in the 3rd spot. So keeping it up, it looks like this could be a lock so long as he keeps it on the track. And keeping it on the track is the name of the game, of course. It looks like that time by Boomer Logan having trouble keeping it on the track. He is now in the 22nd spot, 1 lap down already. Cal Filarski, the next man 1 lap down, who could be lapped. Matthew Thuners is still far out of frame, but Filarski closer and closer to catching up to Jacob Fife. Fife, the last driver on the lead lap, 1 minute and 22 seconds behind, has some minor front end damage for Pro Pattern Paint out of Ashland, Virginia. The Triple P machine not faring all too well, as it still seems like the 8 machine is far out of range in catching yet another driver to put them 1 lap down, but that remains to be seen. Jacob Fife could be caught, and they are still not within the same camera angle, so that is good news for the 36 machine, as Stoners comes around this time by to make it through the final 2 corners. Once again, lap cars might be the most of his concerns right now. You know, the driver seems to be in his concerns, as Thomas Bresci holds on strong in that 24 machine. Nobody with him right now in second. 2 laps remain for Matthew Thunhorst. And the integrity fill-up 150 kilometer has been a game of filling up the fuel tank. And as soon as Matthew Thuners did that and pulled away from Ethan Lane, it was go time. And it might have been game over for the remainder of the pack. I think that it was. And it seems like for the driver of the number 8 machine, the game plan was to keep himself competitive all race long, and that he has done. Every lap seems to be dead even with his last. That time by, he's ran about 2 consecutive back-to-back 137.987, getting up to a high of close to 180 miles an hour down the back straightaway, but not close enough. Speed is not what matters in isolation. It's all about consistency. If you cannot perform at an adequate level, Jacob Fife gets by one machine that looked to be in the gravel big time there. As a matter of fact, Fife close to being lapped there. But you can see Matthew Thornhurst, his precision is what keeps him in the mix. No other driver has been as precise all night long. And the focus on that lead battle, there has been no battle to focus on, but the focus on the leader, it's evident. Matthew Thornhurst, the man to beat tonight. Braxton Weiss gaining in on the Ford Smith machine. Nick Terbuch far out in front as he's picking through the battles between the lead guys, or rather the lead lappers, and the last lappers, as Joe Dinsmore right now has been able to pull away from position, looks like number 19. 19th spot for Dinsmore, able to claw through the battle he was in beforehand. Looks like other drivers on that one lap down segment. Daniel Fost is the man in the highest spot. Jacob Fife now 1 minute and 23 seconds behind. And you can see just in frame, 1 lap to go for the driver of that number 8 machine. It is Matthew Thornhurst. This will be it. The last lap. The white flag is out here in Okayama. Our first trip to Japan all year long. And it has fared well for one driver, mostly the 8 machine out of anyone else. This will be it. Checking in another battle. It looks like right now it's going to be Rob Ackley going at it with Alan Dobbs once again. He's been inseparable all night long. Nobody's been with them the same way they have been with one another, and their consistency in this battle has been key. Braxton Weiss did pass the both of them, but still seems like these two are on a tear. As we check the rear chase camera, you can see Alan Dobbs taking the apex quite nicely there. Rob Ackley not able to compete as they come to the white flag this time by. They're about 52 seconds behind your race leader, and Dobbs able to pull away that time through. But Matthew Thornhurst has just been able to pull away further and further on the field. He's about 10 flat seconds ahead of Thomas Bresci, and this is the final segment for the man out in front. And the 8 machine coming to the stripe this time by. He knows that he has earned this one. Absolutely. Nobody else on his level for the time the green flag dropped. It was him and him only. Matthew Thornhurst out in front all night long. And Okayama, our only trip to it so far this season. Japan has fared well. The international trip for the driver of the number 8 machine, it is all his tonight. The Integrity Phillip 150 kilometer is won by Matthew Thornhurst as he comes across the line. Your winner in Japan, and he has 2 wins in the season as well, solidifying himself as the road course ace to beat so far this year. 2023 faring well for the man in the number 8 machine. Thornhurst wins race number 2 on the season. And Matthew Thornhurst, top of the board once again, 42 laps. We've gotten to that 42nd right now, but 41 timed and scored laps, and he led every one of which, save for one. Don Stevenson, I believe, got one in on him through the pit cycle, but dominance in its purest form. It was a show to behold, as it looks like Matthew Thornhurst comes out on top over 11 seconds. Thomas Bresci, second. Justin Morton, third. Ethan Lane in fourth. And Chad Mikas rounds out your top 5. Blake Warren going to be passed by Don Stevenson there at the stripe. Blake Warren falling back big time as we speak. As a matter of fact, Gordon going to fall back down into 7th. We'll check on the batter here and now and see just what happened, as it seems like something absolutely happened, as this is a bit too close for comfort there. And we'll check back once again. Blake Warren seemed to be behind it for quite a while here. We'll check on what happened still, as Don Stevenson barely got ahead of him, and it seems like it was a very late race mistake there. And this is what happened. He loses it very, very close to the end, and 1 lap to go, loses 1 more spot, and we'll get back to live feed here, but that's how Don Stevenson gets into 6th position. And the burnout is still not on. Let's get the remainder of your results on the screen. It's going to be Nick Terbuch in 8th, Braxton Weiss there in 9th, Alan Dobbs position number 10, and finally Rob Ackley, DJ Stagner, Alec Daffin, Dale Brooks, and Dale Brooks, my apologies, as Jacob Fife in 15th rounds out your lead lappers. Then it's going to be Cody Smith there in position number 17. Joe Dinsmore going to be 19th as Kyle Cooper comes home in position number 18. And Forrest Smith, 20th, 1 lap down, as the remainder of the field goes as follows. Trevor Trago, Boomer Logan, Brandon Bernhardt, Cal Filarski, Alan Rowell, Kevin McGarvey, Michael Stroll, and then Casey Shu. And that will be your field
here from Okayama. And Thunhurst still waiting to get the burnout started, and I believe it will begin here and now. If at all, and that it will not. Going and disconnecting from the session there. Matthew Thunhurst done and done. Taking a lap with grace and with pride. The driver, the number 8 machine, comes home on top by a wide margin all race long. This one was his, and we're going to have to get a word with the man who dominated this race all night long. No other driver on his level. Matthew Thunhurst comes home on the top of the board, and we will get him in right here, right now. The 8 machine, like no other for JT Motorsports, he comes home on the top of the board. Matthew Thunhurst winning in Okayama, and it looks like from the moment we went green, nobody on your level. How do you feel?
Yeah, Justin was being a little pesky there, and he ended up snatching the pole, and just one of those things. Hang on, let me. All right, here we go. Sorry, I had 20 different things going on there, but yeah, no, I mean it felt really good to get the lead there off the start. Blake ended up getting a really good run into there, and all of a sudden my spotter wasn't working too well, and had about a heart attack there, and then I just tried to scurry away from him, and I burned my stuff up way too much there towards the end of the first run where there were a lot of the hairpins where I was downshifting in at first, especially in the second half of the course, and there were just too many times I was just mashing it or driving it in too hard, and the rears were paying for it, and made those fixes in the second run, and I was able to kind of scurry away and kind of have a drama-free race, but there were a couple of times, especially in turn 5 with that hairpin right after that long straightaway that I almost blew it, and it's just like, uh-oh. And it's one of those that it's just, you almost know it's coming, and it's just, you pray that the brakes work well enough and the tires will forgive you afterwards.
And it seems like forgiveness for your tires was there all night long, incremental progress. So what were the differences made in the second run that was able to seal the deal and get you an 11-second advantage after 20 laps of racing?
Well, I know the one thing, and I wanted to go for points there on the first half of that, and because I saw Ethan, I think, ducked in like lap 18 or 19, and I knew we had about 3.5 seconds of fall off compared to fast time, so I figured he was going to get there to me, and I was like, well, I really want to stay out the third lap and get the points, but I think at this point, anyone who's still going to be out there won't stay out, or they won't be close enough that I can scurry across the line and still get some good points, and I got lucky with that to still get second at the stage, and I got lucky because I came out of pit road and it's like, okay, where's Ethan at? And because I was kind of expecting him maybe be like 3 to 5 seconds up the road at least, especially if I was stayed out that other lap. And I came out in front of him and I'm just like, oh, quick, run! And I got out in front of him with the fresh tires. I was just able to pull away. And then him and Thomas were racing pretty hard, and that just allowed me to get a real comfortable like 5-second gain. And I just kept adding like a couple of tenths here or there every lap, and just had a real easy finish there. It was probably a bit of a snooze fest for the fans up front, but I'm going to be a little selfish as a driver and say I enjoyed that one.
And certainly one to enjoy, getting home with your second win on the season here. Now, Okayama is going to be a big change of pace next time we go racing at Talladega. 88 laps there, so following a road course super speedway action, it's anyone's game there. What's going to take to come out on top?
I don't think I'm going to have a plan that's going to work for that one, because I tried something for Daytona, and that was the one race where I kind of caught up in a couple of big ones right at the end there, and it's just Talladega is going to be a little bit easier than Daytona because you can actually easily make 3 lanes work there, but it just depends. I mean, it's kind of like you said, it's anyone's game there. A lot of good drivers, and Talladega is enough of an equalizer that you can pretty much throw anyone in this field and say, hey, they have a shot to win this. So it's kind of going to be lucky where, who dodges what, where you are when accidents occur, if they don't happen, and if you're able to position yourself at the end before kind of a land rush to the front there for the final sprint to the end. And it's going to depend, but I'd say that one's probably going to be pretty exciting. So folks will need to tune in next Monday night for that one.
And absolutely hoping to tune in there. But tonight, it was all yours here in Okayama. The Integrity Fill-Up 150-kilometer, won by Matthew Thunhurst. Anyone else you'd like to thank, or any final thoughts?
Yeah, just want to thank all the folks at Integrity and everybody who raced tonight in the Ignite series. I didn't really get a chance because of how busy I was behind the wheel. Just a lot of the guys who I ended up lapping were really respectful, and that's appreciated. And just all the admins to put this on. And you might have to give me help here. Who is the sponsor for tonight? They need some thanking as well.
Well, I do believe this might be a self-sponsor one. Far from only where it's going to be the Integrity Phillip.
Well, then, just double thanks, I guess, to the guys in Integrity, and just thanks to you as well, David, for broadcasting, and everybody behind Fireball Talks that makes it happen, and just everybody else who tuned in. And thanks, and hope to see you all back here next week.
And absolutely hope to see everyone back, and Matthew Thonos back to the winning ways here in Okayama, winning Integrity Phillip 150 kilometers. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem.
Drag him right back in. Get your second place finisher, Thomas Bressi, able to claw his way back up. And while Matthew Thonos did run away, it seemed like at the tail end you figured something out as well, able to come home in that second spot, nice and smooth. How was it out front?
A lot better than qualifying back in the teens and 20s like I have the last couple of weeks. It helps to start a little closer to the front and just kind of race for a change. Just a little short on overall pace speed compared to Matt. He did a really good job. He's fast in practice and obviously walked away with the race, so congrats to him. But got a little interesting in turn one, and that I think got me a spot or two, and then just kind of settled in. And I thought I was okay at the beginning of the run, and I think I lost most of the time in the middle portion, because I think right before we pitted, I started closing back up a little bit, but I mean, nowhere near enough, so it didn't really matter. But and then the last run, just once I got out of the pits and got back to Ethan because he was on the undercut, once I got by him and figured Matt was going to run away with it, which he already was. I was like, I'm just gonna not junk myself and try to get a decent finish this week, which we did. So can't be too upset.
Absolutely able to come home nice and smooth now. 2 runs on tires tonight, about 20 laps apiece. What did you change for the first to second to make it all happen?
Not too much. I was just, again, that second run, I actually wasn't even sure, especially with how many laps were between me and Ethan. I thought I would have trouble getting back to him, but I think we caught some lap cars in some weird spots, and I think I was just a fair bit better those first handful of laps on stickers where I was able to get back to him. And then he made a little mistake kind of into that third sector and dropped the right rear off in the dirt. And that was kind of my chance. I was like, I'm just going to go now. So, and then once I got by him, it was just kind of settle and try to not throw anything away. So, it's a tight group of guys up front there. Obviously I know we got spaced out, but especially on, in qualifying, we're all really close. In qualifying for these races is not even just the ovals, but the road courses especially. It's so important because I think the first run, Justin and Ethan were probably both a little faster than me in that middle portion, but just because I had the track position, they really couldn't find a great way to get by me. So I think that sort of helped as well. So I just tried to kind of manage what I had. I knew I wasn't, the fastest one there in that lead group. So I was just trying to hang on to what I had and maximize the opportunities that kind of came my way.
And maximization of opportunities was the way to go here at Okayama. But Talladega, when we get back racing next Monday, going to be a whole different ballpark. So what's it going to take to back up yet another strong result?
Well, survive again. We need to do a little better than Daytona. I'm pretty sure. We I felt like I ran well at Daytona. I feel like I've gotten more confident in the plate races in the last couple tries that we've had here in Integrity and in the league I was in previously. Just got to get to the end. It's Talladega. It's a crapshoot. Sometimes you make it through the big one, and at Daytona I didn't. So I think I finished almost 30th or something like that. So trying not to do that again is important. But you're kind of at the mercy of the other 40 some people that are out there sometimes. But we'll just try to keep our heads screwed on straight and get what we can next week and survive again.
And survival appears to be for the fittest. Thomas Bressi, one of which second tonight here at Okayama, and it's going to be all about survival once more at Talladega. Any final thoughts?
I hope everybody enjoyed the helmet cam. I hope that was interesting. I know it's you're not really seeing too much different at the ovals, so I thought maybe the road course would be a fun change of pace. Hopefully people enjoyed that. Again, congrats to Matt on the win. He's not on the JT Motorsports team, but he's been kind of working with us. So some friendly co-opetition, you could call it. So happy to see him get the job done. Justin did a really nice job, getting on the podium there as well. And yeah, just of course, thanks to all the series sponsors. Huge shout out, of course, to Next Level Racing. I know that got announced last week, and I think I speak for everyone here. It's a huge deal to be working with them. So, hats off to them and the admin team that made that happen and put the series on every week. You guys for doing the broadcasts, and I hope everybody enjoyed the race tonight.
And of course, a race to enjoy for Thomas Bressy comes on the podium second tonight here at Okayama. Thank you for your time.
Yep, see you, man.
There we have it. Justin Morton going to be third on the board here, and your pole sitter for tonight's event, able to pull home a strong race. Morton putting on a great run in qualifying and able to back it up strong with a long run here in the race. All green and all clean. Nine Machine comes home on third. How was it tonight?
It felt pretty good. Kind of unfortunate there at the start. I managed to get the pole, and then on the race start, I just spun the tires up. That start zone was so long waiting for the green. I just had no clue when it was, and just got a little too much on the gas and spun them up, and I think that kind of just set up my entire first run pretty badly. Just kind of managed my way through that stint. Then the second stint went much better. Had that tire overlap on Ethan's. That kind of helped with making the pass on him, but I think I just had much better pace in that second stint compared to the first.
And the second stint seemed to be the way to go. They were able to recoup some losses that we saw on the start. So what was it that really made it click on that second run? Because certainly able to pull yourself back up there.
Probably just being able to calm down a little bit and not spinning the tires up right at the start probably helps a lot also. That probably really killed my start of the initial stint, and then it kind of just never could recover because of just how tire heating kind of works in iRacing. Just managed to be a lot calmer, stay in my head and focus the entire way through, and that really seemed to help.
And focus was the name of the game indeed. Now, it seems like every driver needed here at a road course where sticking on the track is about 90% of the success, but Talladega, there's a whole lot of track there, one of the widest, one of the fastest. What will it take to convert a strong run here to a strong run there? Admittedly, to the drivers we talked to so far, seems like it's just going to be all about how it plays out no matter what.
Yeah, my plate racing luck isn't the greatest, so not really looking forward to it. I'm not a big fan of plate racing. It's part of the service, it's part of the racing, and I get that. It's just, I don't know. I always seem just to have terrible luck and just end up wrong place, wrong time, pretty much every race, but just need to get lucky and put myself in the right spot to be there at the end.
And all about being there at the end. Justin Morton comes home tonight at the end in third. So any final thoughts before we head to next week?
None that I can think of. Thank you for doing the broadcasting. You do a fantastic job.
And there we have it. Justin Morton able to put a fantastic race in his own right here at Okayama. The Integrity Phillip 150 kilometer. Third on the board. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
There we have it, Justin Morton back on his way, and that was a great show. Road racing sometimes just goes a bit different. And Chris, unfortunately, point standings I do not believe are updated live here. So if we looked at them right now, I'll try to get a look at them and get some information. And as we speak, point standings are going to go as follows. I'm not sure if they're already entered in, courtesy of Sim Racer Hub, but as it stands, looking at the point standings, they do not appear to be updated at the moment. Going into the night, however, it goes as follows, and now it appears they are going to be updated. Matthew Thorners does lead the points by a total of 31. Behind him, Ethan Lane, and then in third, Thomas Bressy, and that's going to be the way it rolls. Don Stevenson going to be in fourth, and then going to be Blake Gordon in fifth. So apologies on the moment there. We were not sure if it was updated live. We will get the point standings display back on screen next week. As 6 races into the championship hunt, it's going to get serious from here on out. Dunhorst is your championship hopeful at the front of the board, so keep an eye out for him. He's looking to make something special happen as the season goes on. Winning at Okayama, and he's got a lot of promise going into the remainder of the season. Thank you all for watching. We'll be live tomorrow with the Integrity Octane Series, looking to strike big at Las Vegas. All about hitting the jackpot in Sin City. We'll see how that goes in just a night's time. Thank you all for stopping by tonight. We hope you enjoyed our presentation of the Integrity Phillip 150 kilometer and hope to see you whenever we are live once again on FDN. Thank you all and hope you have a great night.